You're settling into your new apartment in a towering relic of Chicago's skyline, the Windy City's infamous Hawthorne Building, a 1920s skyscraper that's seen better days. It's midnight, and as you lie in bed, a soft, unnatural glow seeps through your ceiling, like a forgotten lantern in an attic that shouldn't exist. Then come the footsteps, deliberate, echoing thuds from directly above, where blueprints swear there's only empty sky. A twisted lullaby floats down, its melody warping into something sinister, pulling at your curiosity like a hook in your soul. What if that light isn't a trick of the eye? What if it's a siren call to a hidden horror that claims lives and leaves no trace? Buckle up, because this is the chilling saga of Sophia Reynolds, a tale of urban terror that will have you checking your own ceilings long after the video ends. Stay tuned. Things are about to get spine-tingling. Sophia Reynolds was a 26-year-old aspiring journalist from the suburbs of Illinois, fresh out of Northwestern University, with dreams of breaking big stories in the city. She'd always been the type to chase leads, no matter how shadowy, but nothing prepared her for the Hawthorne Building in downtown Chicago. This monolithic structure, with its Gothic spires and faded grandeur, offered dirt-cheap rent on the 12th floor, perfect for her budget. The apartment was a steal. High ceilings, original hardwood floors scarred by time, and panoramic views of Lake Michigan. But from day one, an undercurrent of dread lingered, like the building itself was breathing. Her move-in day was chaotic. Boxes everywhere, the elevator groaning like an old beast. The building manager, Mr. Reginald Foster, a stooped man in his 70s with a gravelly voice and evasive eyes, handed her the keys with a warning. Stick to the elevators after dark, miss. These old stairs have a mind of their own. Sophia brushed it off as superstition, typical for a place rumored to be haunted since the Great Depression. She spent the evening unpacking, blasting podcasts to drown out the city's hum, and finally collapsed into bed around 11 p.m. That's when it started. A faint tapping from above, like heels on floorboards. Tap, 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 steady, rhythmic. Sophia sat up, staring at the ceiling. The Hawthorne was only 12 stories tall. No penthouse, no roof deck for residents. She'd checked the floor plans online during her apartment hunt. Maybe pigeons? Or wind-rattling vents? She tried to sleep, but the sounds evolved, shuffling, then a low hum. A melody she recognized as Hush Little Baby, but off-key, stretched into something mournful and wrong. By 2 a.m., curiosity won. Sophia slipped on a robe and stepped onto her balcony, the chill November wind whipping her hair. Craning her neck, she froze. There, impossibly, a sliver of amber light glowed from above, outlining a window frame that defied logic. It pulsed gently, almost breathing, casting long shadows across the building's facade. Her phone's camera captured it, a blurry proof that something was up there. Heart pounding, she retreated inside, locking the door as if that could keep out whatever lurked. The next morning, sunlight banished the night's fears. Sophia laughed at herself over coffee, chalking it up to jet lag from her recent move. But doubt nagged. She decided to poke around. First, she grilled Mr. Foster in the lobby. "What's with the light above my floor? Is there some secret level up there?" His face tightened, eyes darting. "Nonsense, Ms. Reynolds. This building stops at 12. Always has. Don't go spreading rumors." But his hands trembled as he adjusted his tie, betraying more than words. Undeterred, Sophia hit the streets, visiting the Chicago Historical Society nearby. In their archives, she unearthed the building's dark origins. Constructed in 1928 by architect Elias Hawthorne, a reclusive genius obsessed with esoteric designs, the tower was meant for elite socialites. But scandals erupted. Whispers of secret societies hosting rituals on a concealed 13th floor, defying city permits. A devastating fire in 1933 claimed lives, including Hawthorne's fiancée, Clara Beaumont, who perished while pregnant. Official reports said the floor was raised, but grainy photos showed inconsistencies, extra windows in old blueprints. One article detailed survivor accounts. Clara's ghost, clad in white, wandering the hidden level, her lullaby echoing as she searched for her lost child. Disappearances followed over decades, tenants vanishing without trace, last seen heading to the stairs. Atizinkilengs venes evek rendorsegi irata, egi fiata reportert, furxa hason losagal Sophia ejos, emlit, akinyomozot es soha nemtalaltak meg, sobajat egi turut, tukorel es egi yegizet, a feni heave. Sophia felt a chill. This mirrored her experience too closely. Back home, she confided in her roommate from college, now a barista downtown, named Mia Gonzalez. Mia, practical and no nonsense, came over that evening. Sounds like urban legend BS, Mia said, munching on takeout pizza. But as night fell, the footsteps returned, louder, more insistent. The lullaby wailed through the vents, words distorting into pleas. Come to me, my baby. They recorded it on Sophia's phone, the audio crisp and terrifying. Mia's skepticism cracked. Okay, that's not normal. Let's check the stairs. The stairwell door was bolted, but the lock looked freshly oiled. With a credit card and grit, they jimmied it open. Ascending into musty darkness, a draft carried ash and sorrow. At the top, a landing that shouldn't be, leading to a dim corridor. At its end, apartment 1307 glowed invitingly. Pushing the door, they entered an empty space. Walls blackened by old flames, air thick with dust. In the center stood an antique mirror, its surface rippled like water. Their reflection stared back, but Sophia's eyes in the glass turned hollow, black. A smile crept on her mirrored face, not her own. Panic surged. They bolted, the door slamming behind. Back in safety, Sophia gasped. That was real. Mia nodded, pale. We need help. But the light above burned brighter, as if awakened. Little did they know, this was just the spark to a blaze of terror. Sophia couldn't shake the image of that twisted reflection in the mirror. Her heart still raced from the encounter on the 13th floor, and sleep was a distant memory. The Hawthorne Building felt alive now, its walls whispering secrets in every creak and groan. Mia, shaken but determined to stay supportive, crashed on Sophia's couch, refusing to leave her friend alone. Over instant coffee, they replayed the audio from last night, the lullaby morphing into a guttural plea. Stay with me, forever. Mia's hands trembled as she set down her mug. Soph, this isn't just a story for your blog. This is dangerous. We need to figure out what's up there before it comes for you. Sophia, ever the journalist, saw this as the scoop of a lifetime, but couldn't deny the fear gnawing at her gut. She spent the morning scouring online forums, diving deeper into Chicago's urban legends. A subreddit dedicated to haunted buildings had a thread on the Hawthorne, with anonymous posts claiming the 13th floor was a soul trap. created by Elias Hawthorne. One user, ShadowSeeker88, described a 1987 incident. A tenant named Daniel Harper, a photographer, vanished after documenting strange lights above his apartment. His camera, found in the stairwell, held one final photo. A woman in white, her face blurred, standing in a mirror. The thread ended abruptly. ShadowSeeker88 hadn't posted since. Determined to connect the dots, Sophia visited a local diner to meet an old tenant, Mrs. Dorothy Klein, a spry 82-year-old who'd lived in the Hawthorne during the 1960s. Dorothy's eyes widened when Sophia mentioned the footsteps. "Oh, honey, you've stirred something up," she said, clutching her tea. "That's Clara Beaumont. She was Elias's love, pregnant when the fire took her. They say she haunts the 13th floor, luring folks to replace her lost family. Back in '65, my friend Ruth went up there after hearing the singing. She was never the same. Started sleepwalking, humming that damned lullaby. Then one night, she was gone. Police said she ran off, but I saw her shoes by the stairwell, covered in ash." Sophia's stomach churned. Dorothy leaned closer, voice low. "The mirrors are the key. Elias believed they could hold spirits. Clara's trapped in one, and she's hungry for company." Dorothy slipped Sophia a faded Polaroid from her purse. A grainy image of a charred hallway, a mirror reflecting a shadowy figure. "Found this in Ruth's things. Be careful, girl. Curiosity killed more than cats in that place." Back at the Hawthorne, Sophia shared the Polaroid with Mia. The image felt like a warning, but Sophia's drive for truth overpowered her fear. That night, the disturbances escalated. The footsteps became stomps, shaking dust from the ceiling. The lullaby turned into wails, echoing through the walls like a banshee's cry. Sophia's lights flickered, her laptop screen glitching to show static. And for a split second, a woman's face, pale and eyeless, staring back. Mia, now fully on board, suggested they check the building's basement for records. Sneaking past Mr. Foster's office, they descended into a damp, cavernous space lit by a single flickering bulb. Among moldy boxes, they found a maintenance log from 1933. It mentioned unauthorized construction on a 13th floor, sealed after the fire for safety violations. A handwritten note in the margin, in Elias's scrawl, read, "The mirror binds her. To free her, blood must trade places." As they read, a loud bang echoed above, metal on concrete. Racing upstairs, they found Sophia's apartment door wide open. Inside, chaos. Books toppled, her coffee mug shattered. On the kitchen table, arranged in a perfect circle, were shards of her bathroom mirror. In the center lay a locket, rusted and old, with a photo of Clara Beaumont inside. Her eyes hauntingly like Sophia's, hazel, piercing, almost alive. Mia grabbed Sophia's arm. "We're leaving, now." But Sophia hesitated, drawn to the locket. As she touched it, the room grew cold, and the lullaby blasted through the vents, now screaming her name. "Sophia, come to me." The windows rattled, and the light above pulsed violently, like a heartbeat. Mia dragged her out, slamming the door. In the hallway, Mr. Foster appeared, his face a mask of dread. "You've seen her, haven't you? You can't outrun Clara. She chooses who she wants." He refused to say more, retreating to his office. Sophia and Mia, rattled, decided to call in an expert. Sophia remembered a podcast she'd listened to, featuring Dr. Evelyn Carter, a paranormal historian based in Chicago. They emailed her, attaching the recordings and Polaroid. Dr. Carter replied within hours. "This is serious. I'm coming tomorrow. Do not go back up there alone." That night, Sophia barely slept. Shadows danced on her walls, forming shapes, hands, faces. She swore she saw Clara in her peripheral vision, standing at the foot of her bed. When she blinked, nothing was there, but her arm stung. Rolling up her sleeve, she found fresh scratches, 3 lines like claw marks. Mia, checking on her, gasped. "Soph, this isn't a story anymore. It's a fight for your life." As dawn broke, the light above dimmed. But Sophia knew it was only biding its time. Dr. Carter's arrival couldn't come soon enough. Dr. Evelyn Carter arrived at the Hawthorne Building just after noon, her presence commanding yet calm. A woman in her late 50s, with gray-streaked hair and sharp eyes, she carried a leather satchel filled with research notes and arcane tools. Over coffee in Sophia's cramped apartment, she listened to the recordings, studied the Polaroid, and examined the locket. Her face grew grim. "This is worse than I thought," she said, voice steady but heavy. "Clara Beaumont isn't just a ghost. She's a revenant, a spirit bound by a ritual gone wrong, feeding on the living to sustain herself. The 13th floor is her prison, and that mirror is her anchor." Sophia and Mia exchanged uneasy glances. Dr. Carter explained Elias Hawthorne's obsession with the occult, pulling out a 1920s journal she'd sourced from a private collector. It detailed Elias's experiments with speculum vitae, mirrors as portals to trap souls. Clara, pregnant and desperate for a legacy, agreed to a ritual to bind her spirit to the building, believing it would grant immortality. The fire was no accident. It was a backlash from the ritual, killing Clara and others, but sealing her essence in the 13th floor's master mirror. "She's been luring tenants ever since," Carter said, "replacing her lost child with their souls. The disappearances, Daniel Harper, Ruth, others, they're her victims." Sophia showed Carter the scratches on her arm. The historian's eyes narrowed. "She's marked you. You're her next target." Mia, pale, asked, "Can we stop her?" Carter nodded. "It's possible, but dangerous. We need a counter-ritual. Salt to ward off her influence, sage to purify, and a blessed object to shatter the mirror. But Clara will fight back. She's grown stronger over decades." They planned for midnight, when paranormal activity peaked. Sophia, Mia, and Carter gathered supplies. Sea salt from a local occult shop, sage bundles, and a silver cross Carter had consecrated years ago during a similar case in New Orleans. As evening fell, the building grew restless. Elevators stalled between floors, lights buzzed erratically, and the air turned heavy, like a storm brewing indoors. Mr. Foster caught them in the lobby, his voice a low hiss. "You're fools. Clara doesn't let go. I tried to warn you." He refused to elaborate, disappearing into the shadows of his office. At 11:30 p.m., the trio ascended the stairwell, the lock now mysteriously unlatched. The air grew colder with each step, the scent of ash overwhelming. The 13th floor's hallway stretched longer than before, doors multiplying, 1,301 to 1,315, each pulsing with faint light. Whispers taunted, "Sophia, join us." The door to 1307 swung open on its own, revealing the charred room. The mirror loomed larger, its frame carved with occult runes that glowed faintly. Carter drew a salt circle around them, chanting protective words. Sophia lit the sage, its smoke curling upward. Mia clutched the cross, her knuckles white, but Clara's presence surged, The mirror rippled, showing their reflections twisting. Sophia's belly swelling unnaturally, Mia's face aging, Carter's eyes bleeding. Clara's voice boomed inside their skulls. "You cannot take my child." The room shook, shadows coalescing into claw-like forms. They lunged, knocking the sage from Sophia's hand. Mia swung the cross, dispersing one shadow, but another grabbed her leg, pulling her toward the mirror. Sophia tackled her free, heart pounding. Carter shouted, "Focus! Break the mirror!" Sophia grabbed a shard from the floor, slicing her palm, and stabbed the glass. Cracks spread, but Clara emerged, pale, translucent, her gown dripping ash. Her hands closed around Sophia's throat, cold as death. Carter thrust the cross into the mirror's center. A deafening wail erupted, windows rattling. The mirror shattered in a burst of light, shadows dissolving. Clara's form flickered, screaming, "No!" before fading. The room stabilized, the oppressive air lifting. But as they stumbled out, Carter clutched her chest, gasping, "She took something from me." She collapsed in the stairwell. Sophia called 911, but Carter was pronounced dead at the scene. Heart failure, the paramedics said. Sophia wasn't convinced. As they left the building, the light above her apartment flickered once, then died. Mia hugged her tightly. "We're done here, Soph. Let's go." But Sophia felt a pull, a whisper in her mind. This wasn't over. The days following Dr. Carter's death blurred into a fog of grief and paranoia for Sophia. The police investigation was brief. Heart attack, they ruled, common in high-stress situations. But Sophia knew better. Clara had claimed her pound of flesh. Mia insisted they move out immediately, crashing at her own place in Wrigleyville while Sophia packed. "This building's poisoned, Soph. Let's put it behind us." Yet, as Sophia boxed her belongings, subtle changes crept in. She caught herself humming the lullaby under her breath, the melody slipping out unbidden during mundane tasks like folding clothes. Mirrors in the apartment unnerved her. She covered them with towels, avoiding her reflection at all costs. Mr. Foster, usually elusive, cornered her in the lobby one afternoon. His eyes, red-rimmed and weary, held a mix of pity and warning. "You shattered the mirror, but Clara's essence scatters like shards. She's in you now, girl. I've seen it before. In the 70s, a young couple tried the same. The wife survived, but she changed. Started collecting old lullabies, talking to invisible children. Ended up in an asylum." Sophia demanded more, but Foster shook his head. "Just leave. Before she rebuilds." Desperate for closure, Sophia reached out to Clara's descendants through online genealogy forums. A response came from Amelia Beaumont, Clara's great-grandniece, a librarian in Evanston. Amelia agreed to meet at a quiet cafe near the lake. Over herbal tea, she shared family lore. Clara was vibrant, an actress in the roaring 20s, but Elias twisted her with his obsessions. "This diary," Amelia said, sliding over a leather-bound book, yellowed with age, "details her final days. She wrote of the ritual, binding her soul to the mirror for eternal life, but regretting it as the fire consumed her. Forgiveness is the key," she penned. "Without it, the cycle repeats." Sophia pored over the diary that night at Mia's, the pages filled with Clara's elegant script, turning frantic toward the end. Entries spoke of visions, mirrors showing alternate lives, souls traded like currency. One chilling passage: "The child within me cries for release. If I cannot have it, others will pay." Sophia felt a phantom kick in her abdomen. Impossible, psychosomatic, but terrifying. Mia noticed her friend's pallor. You're not yourself, Soph. Let's burn that thing. But Sophia couldn't let go. Dreams plagued her, walking the 13th floor, Clara's hand in hers, singing to a cradle of shadows. Waking, she'd find ash on her pillow. Fine, gray dust that Mr. Foster later confirmed matched samples from the 1933 fire. The Hawthorne called her back. Against Mia's pleas, Sophia returned one evening, diary in hand, to confront the remnants. The stairwell door creaked open easily now, as if welcoming her. The 13th floor had changed. Hallways branching like veins, mirrors reforming in cracked mosaics on the walls. The air hummed with energy. The lullaby, a constant undertone. In the central room, shards from the shattered mirror hovered mid-air, reassembling slowly. Clara's voice echoed, "You broke me, but I mend. Join me, Sophia. Be the mother I couldn't." Sophia lit a candle from her pocket, reading aloud from the diary. Clara's own words of regret and plea for forgiveness. "I forgive you, Clara," she whispered, tears streaming. "Rest now." The shards trembled, but instead of peace, rage built. Winds howled, extinguishing the flame. Shadows solidified into figures, past victims, their faces contorted in agony, grabbing at her clothes. One, resembling Daniel Harper from the old photos, rasped, "She's using you to escape." Sophia fought, swinging the diary like a weapon, pages tearing. A shard sliced her cheek, blood dripping onto the reforming mirror. The surface rippled, Clara emerging fully, corporeal, her eyes blazing. "My child needs a vessel," she snarled, hands outreaching. Sophia dodged, but Clara's touch burned, visions flooding. The 1933 fire, flames licking Clara's skin as she sang desperately to her belly. In a surge of adrenaline, Sophia smashed the diary into the mirror's core. Glass exploded anew, Clara's scream piercing like shattering crystal. The shadows dissolved, the hallway contracting. Sophia stumbled down the stairs, collapsing in the lobby where Mr. Foster found her. "It's done?" he asked, helping her up. She nodded weakly, but as she left, a faint glow flickered above, dimmer, but persistent. Back at Mia's, Sophia bandaged her wounds, the cuts forming faint runes like those in the diary. Mia researched them online, symbols for binding and rebirth. "This isn't over," Mia said. "We need more help." They contacted a local priest, Father Michael O'Connor, known for discreet exorcisms in Chicago's underbelly. He arrived the next day, crucifix in hand, listening gravely. "Spirits like this cling. We'll perform a blessing, but you must confront your own regrets. Clara feeds on them." The ritual at Mia's apartment involved holy water and prayers, but midway, objects flew. Books, lamps, crashing against walls. Sophia convulsed, Clara's voice speaking through her. "She is mine." Father O'Connor pressed on, sprinkling water. Sophia's body arched, then relaxed as a cold mist escaped her lips, dissipating. Peace settled, but exhaustion hit hard. Yet, doubts lingered. That night, alone in the guest room, Sophia heard a faint hum. Not from outside, but within. The cycle, it seemed, had only paused. Sophia's world tilted further into chaos after the ritual at Mia's apartment. Father O'Connor's blessing had expelled the mist, but the lullaby lingered in her mind like an earworm from hell, surfacing at odd moments, during showers, while typing articles, even in crowded L trains where the rumble mimicked footsteps. She tried normalcy, freelance gigs on Chicago's crime beat, coffee runs with Mia, but her reflection in shop windows seemed off. Eyes a shade darker, smile too knowing. Mia noticed too. Soph, you're zoning out more. And those cravings, pickles and ice cream, that's not you. Sophia laughed it off, but inwardly, panic brewed. Was Clara's child manifesting in her? Amelia Beaumont, sensing unfinished business, invited Sophia to her Evanston home for more family artifacts. Amelia's living room was a shrine to history, shelves of old tomes, framed photos of Clara in her acting prime. Radiant, tragic. The diary was just the start, Amelia said, unveiling a locked box. Inside, Clara's engagement ring, etched with runes, and a letter from Elias post-fire confessing guilt. He wrote that Clara's spirit fractured during the ritual, pieces attached to the living, growing until they overtake. Sophia slipped on the ring absent-mindedly. A jolt shot through her, visions flashing, Clara's laughter turning to screams amid flames. That night, back at Mia's, the disturbances resumed with vengeance. Sophia woke to her body moving on its own, sleepwalking to the kitchen, hand reaching for a knife. Mia intervened, shaking her awake. You were humming again, Soph, and your eyes, they weren't yours. Scratches appeared on Mia's arms from the struggle, identical to Sophia's earlier marks. Terrified, they called Father O'Connor back. He arrived, grim-faced. The blessing was temporary. Clara's using you as a conduit. We need to sever the bond at the source. The Hawthorne's foundation. Research revealed the building's basement held Elias's original ritual chamber, bricked up after the fire. Mr. Foster, cornered by Sophia's pleas, finally cracked. I've guarded it for years, he admitted in his dimly lit office, voice cracking. My father was Elias's assistant, cursed to maintain the seal. But Clara's leaks through cracks. I'll show you, but it might kill us all. With Foster's keys, the group, Sophia, Mia, Father O'Connor, and a reluctant Amelia, descended at dawn when spirits were weakest. The basement was a labyrinth of pipes and forgotten storage, air thick with mold and secrets. Foster pried open a false wall, revealing a hidden room, altar scarred by fire, walls inscribed with mirrors, small, fragmented ones reflecting infinite depths. In the center, a pedestal with a master shard pulsing like a heart. Clara's voice boomed. You've come home, my dear. The room animated, mirrors cracking, shards levitating to form a swirling vortex. Shadows morphed into spectral figures, victims over decades, their faces pleading, then snarling. Father O'Connor sprinkled holy water, chanting exorcism rites. Mia and Amelia held candles, flames flickering wildly. Sophia, drawn to the shard, touched it, her body convulsed, Clara possessing her fully. This vessel is mine, Sophia Clara roared, eyes blackening, hands lashing out. She hurled Mia against the wall, cracking ribs. Foster swung a crowbar, but Clara deflected it, embedding it in the altar. Amelia shouted Clara's words from the letter. Forgive me, Elias. Release me. The plea weakened Clara. Sophia fought internally, memories clashing, her own life versus Clara's anguish. I forgive you, Sophia gasped through gritted teeth. Father O'Connor smashed the shard with his crucifix. A shockwave erupted, mirrors shattering, shadows imploding. Clara's wail peaked, then silenced as light flooded the room, banishing the dark. They emerged battered. Mia bruised, Foster weeping relief, Amelia clutching the ring, now inert. Sophia collapsed outside, paramedics rushing in. Hospital tests showed nothing physical, but her cravings vanished. The humming stopped. It's over, Father O'Connor assured. But as she recovered, a news alert pinged. Another disappearance in a similar old building in New York. Was Clara truly gone, or had her essence scattered further? Mia, bandaged but fierce, urged Sophia to document it all. Turn this nightmare into your big break, but safely. Sophia started a podcast series, Shadows of Chicago, interviewing survivors of urban haunts. Listeners shared stories, one mentioning a lady in white in the Hawthorne sister building. Doubt crept back. That night, in her new apartment, a mirror fogged inexplicably. A handprint appeared, small, childlike. Sophia smashed it, vowing vigilance. Yet peace felt fragile. Clara's legacy taught her, some doors, once opened, never fully close. With the master shard destroyed, Sophia dared to hope for normalcy. She and Mia found a cozy two-bedroom in Lincoln Park, far from the Hawthorne's looming shadow. The new place was bright, modern, no creaky floors or hidden histories. Sophia threw herself into her podcast, Shadows of Chicago. Episode 1 detailing her ordeal with anonymized names to protect the living. Listeners flooded in, sharing eerie tales. A woman in Milwaukee hearing lullabies from her attic. A man in Detroit seeing pregnant apparitions in mirrors. Comments speculated, sounds like the Beaumont curse? It's spreading. Sophia dismissed it as coincidence, but unease simmered. Amelia stayed in touch, sending scanned Beaumont family letters. One from Clara's sister post-fire. She visits in dreams, begging for a child. The mirrors lie. Don't trust reflections. Sophia's dreams intensified, standing in a burning room, Clara's hands on her shoulders, whispering, "Carry me forward." Waking, she'd find her belly slightly distended, not weight gain, but something unnatural, gone by morning. Doctor visits yielded nothing. Stress-induced phantom symptoms, the GP said, but blood tests showed elevated HCG levels, pregnancy hormones, despite impossibility. False positive, the lab claimed, but Sophia knew better. Mia, recovering from her bruises, grew protective. "We're seeing a specialist, Soph. This isn't over." They consulted Dr. Lena Vasquez, a psychiatrist specializing in trauma and the paranormal, referred by Father O'Connor. In her downtown office, Dr. Vasquez listened, nodding. Residual hauntings can imprint psychologically, even physically. It's like spiritual PTSD. We'll use hypnosis to uncover buried influences. Under trance, Sophia relived the basement ritual. Clara's essence splintering, a fragment burrowing into her like a seed. "She's growing," Sophia murmured in session, "using me to rebirth." Post-hypnosis, phenomena escalated. At home, mirrors warped subtly, Sophia's reflection lagging, then sinking with a sly grin. Objects moved, a baby rattle appearing in her drawer. Antique and soot-stained. Mia filmed it, uploading snippets to Sophia's podcast Patreon for exclusive evidence. Viewers ate it up, but one email chilled them. From Clara Reborn, 1928. Anonymous saying, "The child quickens. Come back to Hawthorne." IP tracing led nowhere. Mr. Foster called unexpectedly. "The building's changing," he rasped. Lights on the 13th flickering again. Tenants complaining of cries. "You didn't end it. You scattered it." Sophia, against Mia's warnings, returned with recording gear. The lobby felt colder. Foster aged overnight. "Downstairs," he urged. The ritual chamber was sealed, but cracks webbed the bricks, oozing ash. As Sophia touched one, pain lanced her abdomen. A contraction? Visions assaulted. Clara birthing in flames, the infant's cry merging with hers. Upstairs, her old apartment stood vacant, door ajar. Inside, mirrors intact, reflecting not the room, but the 13th floor. Hallways endless, shadows birthing forms. Clara appeared in the glass, belly full, smiling. Our time comes. Sophia's water broke, not fluid, but inky darkness pooling. Mia, who'd followed secretly, burst in. Soph, snap out! But Sophia Trance walked to the mirror, hand extending. Father O'Connor and Amelia arrived, alerted by Foster. Chaos ensued. The room quaked, furniture levitating. Clara's voice multi-layered. The vessel is ready. Sophia's body contorted, skin paling to translucence. O'Connor brandished a relic, a shard from Clara's original grave, unearthed by Amelia. In nomine Patris, he intoned, pressing it to Sophia's forehead. Burn sizzled, Clara screeching through her. No! My legacy? Mia and Amelia chanted forgiveness from the family letters, voices uniting. Sophia fought internally, rejecting the intrusion. This isn't yours. A surge built, light versus dark. The mirror cracked, Clara's image fracturing into screams. Sophia collapsed, the darkness expelling in a vortex, sucked into the relic shard. O'Connor sealed it in a blessed box. Burn this at her grave, he commanded. They raced to Graceland Cemetery, Clara's unmarked plot under moonlight. Digging shallow, they buried the box, O'Connor praying over flames. Clara's final wail echoed across the graves, fading to wind. Sophia, weakened but free, felt the weight lift. No more humming, no distortions. Back home, tests normalized, but scars remained, faint runes on her skin. Reminders. Her podcast boomed. Episode 2, Warning of Occult Dangers. Curiosity invites shadows, she narrated. Yet in quiet moments, she wondered, if Clara was gone, why did distant lullabies still call on windy nights? Sophia's podcast, Shadows of Chicago, exploded in popularity after the second episode aired, detailing the basement ritual and the cemetery burial with raw audio clips from her recordings. Distorted whispers, shattering glass, Clara's fading screams. Subscribers surged past 10,000, comments flooding with personal ghost stories and theories. Clara's curse is like the Bell Witch, never truly ends. One listener, a sound engineer from Austin, analyzed her files pro bono, emailing, "There's a subsonic frequency in the lullaby, around 19 hertz, infrasound, known to cause unease and hallucinations. Could explain the building's hauntings." Sophia appreciated the science. It grounded her lingering fears. But late nights editing episodes, she'd pause, swearing the audio held new layers. Faint baby cries not there before. Life in Lincoln Park offered respite. Morning jogs along the lakefront. Brunches with Mia, who now co-hosted occasional segments. We're turning trauma into triumph, Mia said, clinking mimosas. Yet, Sophia's scars itched under long sleeves, the runes fading but never gone. Dr. Vasquez's sessions continued, delving into post-traumatic growth. You've reclaimed your narrative, the psychiatrist affirmed, but watch for triggers, mirrors, music. Sophia nodded, but avoided disclosing the new symptom. Echoes in her ears, like distant singing on windy days, carried from the loop. Amelia, now a close ally, visited with more artifacts, a Beaumont family Bible, pages marked with pleas for deliverance. Clara's mother was devout, Amelia explained over tea. She believed spirits could fragment, attaching to bloodlines or proxies. Sophia felt a chill. Was she a proxy? That night, editing alone, her computer glitched. The screen filled with static, resolving into a grainy video, not hers. It showed the Hawthorne's 13th floor, intact, a figure in white pacing. Clara? The file self-deleted, but Sophia screenshot it, heart racing. Mia dismissed it as a hack. Podcasts attract weirdos. Change your passwords. But similar anomalies piled up. Anonymous tips to the podcast email. One with an attached photo of Graceland Cemetery. The burial site disturbed. Dirt upturned. The blessed box missing. She's rising, the message read. Sophia traced the IP to a Chicago library, but security cams showed no one at the terminal. Paranoia set in. She installed home cams, catching nothing but her own restless sleep, tossing, murmuring lullabies. Father O'Connor, sensing trouble, called unprompted. "Dreams again?" he asked. Sophia confessed the glitches, the echoes. "Fragments linger, child. We'll reconsecrate the site." They met at Graceland under cover of dusk, Mia and Amelia tagging along for support. The plot looked pristine, no disturbance. But as O'Connor prayed, the ground trembled faintly. Digging revealed the box intact, yet warm to the touch. Inside, the shard pulsed, cracks glowing. Clara's voice whispered from it, "Mother, I hunger." Panic erupted. Shadows lengthened unnaturally, forming tendrils that snaked toward them. Mia yelped as one coiled her ankle, pulling her down. Sophia grabbed the shard, burning her palm. Visions assaulting. Clara's fragmented soul scattering like seeds on the wind. One rooting in her, others in the city, lullabies heard in subways, mirrors fogging in high-rises. "She's multiplying," Sophia gasped. O'Connor doused the shard in holy water. It hissed, steam rising, but the shadows intensified, manifesting faces, victims, now Clara's minions. Amelia recited from the Bible, verses on banishing unclean spirits. The group formed a circle, chanting. Sophia, at the center, felt the root in her stir, a blooming pain in her core. "Get out!" she screamed internally. The shard cracked under pressure, exploding in light. Shadows recoiled, dissolving, the echoes silencing. They reburied it deeper, O'Connor sealing with salt and prayer. Exhausted, they retreated to a nearby diner, adrenaline crashing. But doubt festered. Back home, Sophia's cams captured anomaly. In the dead of night, her reflection in the bedroom mirror moved independently, humming, hand on belly. She smashed the mirror, glass raining, but the podcast inbox pinged. A listener submission from a Hawthorne tenant. "Heard singing last night. Light on the 13th again." Attached. A blurry photo matching her glitch video. Mia, reviewing it, paled. "Soph, this is coordinated. Someone, or something, is toying with us." They decided to go public in the next episode, crowdsourcing evidence. But as Sophia scripted, a knock echoed, not at the door, but from within her walls. The lullaby swelled, not external, but in her veins. Clara wasn't gone. She was evolving, using Sophia's voice, her platform, to spread. The episode dropped, viral overnight. Calls poured in. Similar hauntings across Chicago. Mirrors as vectors. Sophia realized the curse had digitized, leaping through screens, audio waves. Her final sign, a pregnancy test, positive despite celibacy. "Our child," Clara's voice cooed in her mind. The positive pregnancy test stared back at Sophia like a curse inscribed in plastic. She sat on the bathroom floor of her Lincoln Park apartment, the strip trembling in her hand as Mia pounded on the door. "Soph? What's wrong?" Mia burst in, eyes widening at the sight. "Oh God, how? You haven't—" Sophia shook her head, voice breaking. "It's her, Clara, the child she lost. It's using me." The test wasn't medical. It was metaphysical, a manifestation of the spirit's unresolved grief-twisting reality. Dr. Vasquez, consulted urgently via video call, urged calm. This could be psychosomatic amplification, but given your history, we treat it as real. Isolate triggers. No mirrors, no audio editing alone. But isolation proved impossible. Shadows of Chicago had gone viral, episode 3, covering the cemetery reconsecration, garnering over 100,000 downloads. Media outlets buzzed. Local news segments on Chicago's modern ghost hunter, interview requests piling up. Sophia's inbox overflowed with fan mail, but amid the praise lurked horrors. Listeners reporting symptoms after episodes. One email from a suburban mom. Heard the lullaby in your clip. Now my mirrors fog, and I crave things I hate. Am I pregnant too? Attached. A photo of her belly with faint rune-like stretch marks. Another from a college kid. Played your podcast at a party. Lights flickered. Someone vanished into the bathroom mirror. Police think drugs, but we know. Sophia cross-referenced. Disappearances spiked in Chicago post-episode drop. Police log showing mirror-related incidents. People found catatonic, humming tunes. Father O'Connor confirmed over phone. Clara's essence digitized. Your voice carried her like a virus. We must quarantine the episodes. But deleting them felt like surrender. Instead, Sophia planned a live finale. A broadcast from the Hawthorne, exposing the curse to end it. Mia protested vehemently. This is suicide, Soph. Let pros handle it. But Amelia backed her. Family duty. I'll bring relics. Mr. Foster resigned, granted access. One last stand. The group reconvened at the building under a stormy sky, lightning illuminating the Gothic facade. Inside, the lobby hummed. Literal vibrations, as if the structure breathed. Ascending to the 12th floor, Sophia set up her rig. Laptop, mic, webcam for Livestream. Viewers tuned in by thousands, chat exploding. Is this real? Show the 13th. As the stream started, Sophia narrated. Tonight, we confront Clara Beaumont once and for all. Mia monitored tech. Amelia held the family Bible. O'Connor blessed the space. Foster barred doors. The stairwell beckoned. Lock dissolved to dust. Climbing, the 13th floor unfolded like a nightmare fractal. Hallways looping, mirrors everywhere, reflecting alternate Sophias. Pregnant, screaming, dissolving. Clara's voice layered over the stream audio. Welcome home, Mother. Viewers reported glitches. Screens cracking digitally. Lullabies overriding speakers. One chatter. My reflection just smiled at me. Help. Sophia pressed on, entering the reformed central chamber. The master mirror dominated surface liquid, birthing shadows. Clara emerged, not ghostly but fleshed, belly swollen, eyes on Sophia. Our child quickens, she cooed, hand extending. Sophia's abdomen writhed in response, pain lancing as if labor began. Chaos unleashed, shadows attacked. Mia swatted tendrils with a flashlight. Amelia chanted verses. O'Connor swung his crucifix. Foster, revealing a hidden tattoo, Elias's sigil, joined, muttering words. Clara lunged at Sophia, merging partially, visions of shared lives. Clara's stage triumphs, fire's agony, Sophia's childhood blended. Become me, Clara urged. Sophia resisted, grabbing the mic. Listeners, forgive her. Say it now. Forgive Clara Beaumont. Chat flooded. Forgive. Rest in peace. Collective will surge, digital exorcism amplifying. The mirror rippled, Clara faltering. No, my legacy. Sophia, empowered, thrust Amelia's ring into the glass. Cracks exploded outward, shards digitizing, streaming as code bursts to viewers. Clara's form pixelated, scream glitching into static, dissolving. The floor stabilized, mirrors dulling to normal. Sophia's pain subsided, the pregnancy vanishing like smoke. Stream chat cheered, but reports trickled, symptoms lifting worldwide. Back downstairs, O'Connor sealed the building with final rites. The collective broke her hold. Foster smiled wearily. Free at last. Post-broadcast, Sophia's test read negative. Episodes archived with warnings. Podcast rebranded to Survivor Stories. But in quiet, she wondered, had forgiveness truly severed or just scattered further? A final email. Thank you. The singing stopped. Signed, anonymously. Peace, tentative, settled. In the wake of the live stream exorcism, Sophia's life teetered on the edge of reclaimed normalcy. But the digital echoes of Clara refused to fade entirely. The podcast episode had peaked at over 1 million views, trending on social media with hashtags like Clara Curse and Hawthorne Horror. News outlets picked it up. Chicago podcaster battles ghost in viral live stream, with clips circulating on TikTok and YouTube. Sophia fielded interview requests from paranormal shows, but she declined most, focusing on healing. Mia, ever the anchor, suggested a break. Let's unplug, Soph. No mics, no mirrors for a week. They planned a cabin getaway in Wisconsin Dells, away from city signals and haunted high-rises. Yet, the curse's digital tendrils proved insidious. Sophia's phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Fans sharing infected stories. A teacher in Springfield reported her classroom smartboard glitching to show a pregnant woman in white during a lesson. A gamer in Peoria claimed his VR headset whispered lullabies, mirrors in-game birthing shadows. Sophia cross-checked with Father O'Connor. Clara's fragments are viral now, jumping devices. Destroy your equipment. She smashed her old laptop, but backups in the cloud hummed with life. Files autoplaying the ritual audio, voices layering deeper. Amelia arrived unannounced one evening, face ashen, clutching a USB drive. Family archives digitized years ago. After your stream, they corrupted. Playing the files revealed scans of Clara's letters morphing, ink bleeding into new words. The child spreads. Sophia's scars flared, runes glowing faintly under her skin. Dr. Vasquez, in an emergency session, hypothesized, it's mimetic, a haunting that propagates through information. Your forgiveness weakened her, but exposure amplified remnants. That night, storms ravaged Chicago, thunder mimicking footsteps from above. Sophia dreamed vividly. A network of mirrors like web servers, Clara at the hub, birthing digital offspring, avatars invading apps, social feeds. Waking to lightning flashes, her phone screen cracked spontaneously, displaying a live feed, not hers, of the Hawthorne's 13th floor, reformed, teeming with spectral figures. Clara's face filled the frame. Delivery time. Mia woke to Sophia's screams, finding her friend convulsing on the floor, abdomen distended impossibly. It's happening, Sophia gasped. They rushed to the ER, but scans showed nothing physical, just anomalous energy signatures. The baffled doctor muttered, eyeing the storm outside. Father O'Connor met them there, Bible in hand. The storm's her conduit. Electricity carries spirits. News reports blared. Citywide blackouts. But the Hawthorne glowed, lights pulsing like contractions. Against medical advice, Sophia insisted on returning to ground zero. The group piled into Mia's car, Amelia and Foster, summoned via frantic call, joining. Rain lashed the windshield as they navigated flooded streets. The building loomed, lightning illuminating extra windows. The 13th floor, visible to all now, superimposed on reality. Inside, the lobby flooded ankle-deep, water rippling with reflections of Clara's face. Elevators jammed, forcing the stairs, each step echoing with cries, walls weeping ash. The 13th floor birthed itself anew, doors multiplying into a labyrinth. Mirrors lined every surface, screens too, old TVs flickering podcast clips, phones on the floor buzzing with viewer messages. Forgive her again. Clara's chamber pulsed, a womb of glass and shadow. She hovered, form massive, laboring. Witness my birth. Shadows swarmed, digital glitches manifesting as static entities, zapping like electricity, burning skin. Mia dodged one, her arm singed. Amelia hurled the Bible, pages igniting midair. Foster chanted ancient words, his sigil tattoo blazing. O'Connor raised a vial of holy oil. In the name of mercy. Sophia, pain racking her, approached Clara. I forgave you. Now forgive yourself. She touched Clara's ethereal belly, feeling the child, pure regret, unresolved. A climax surged, storm peaking, lightning striking the building, energy channeled through mirrors, shattering them in chain reaction. Clara wailed, form contracting, the birth inverting, shadows sucked back, digital fragments deleting. Sophia's distortion vanished, scars healing instantly. Clara's final whisper, free, at last. The floor collapsed into normalcy, just dusty attic space. They emerged to clearing skies, city lights rebooting. Hospital recheck, all normal. Sophia archived the podcast, adding disclaimers. Listen at your risk. But peace held. No echoes. No glitches. The curse, birthed and banished, left lessons in its wake. Sophia's cabin, getaway in Wisconsin Dells, was meant to be a reset, a rustic log home nestled among pines, far from Chicago's concrete jungle and the Hawthorne's spectral grip. Mia drove, playlists blaring to drown any lurking hums, while Sophia stared out at passing forests, her hand occasionally drifting to her now flat abdomen. The pregnancy had vanished post-storm, confirmed by follow-up scans, but phantom kicks echoed in her muscles, like muscle memory from a life not hers. This place has no Wi-Fi, no signals, Mia assured as they unpacked. Clara can't reach us here. Sophia nodded, but her phone, on airplane mode, still felt heavy in her pocket. The first day passed in blissful disconnection. Hikes along sandstone cliffs, bonfires crackling with s'mores, stories of normalcy. Mia's dating mishaps, Sophia's pre-podcast dreams. But nightfall brought the woods alive in ways urban ears ignored. Owls hooting like distorted cries, wind rustling leaves into whispers. Sophia tossed in her bunk, dreaming of mirrors embedded in tree trunks, reflecting Clara's face amid bark. Waking at 3 a.m., she heard it, not imagination. The lullaby, faint, carried on the breeze from the lake. Just an echo, she whispered, but checking her phone, signal snuck in. A notification pierced, a podcast listener DM. The singing started after your episode. My reflection is changing. Help. Mia, roused by Sophia's pacing, brewed tea. Block them all, Soph. We're detoxing. But more messages flooded as spotty service returned. Global reports. A user in London. Mirrors in tube stations showing pregnant ghosts. Tokyo. Lullabies in elevators. People vanishing. It wasn't isolated. The live stream had seeded Clara's remnants worldwide. A viral haunting unbound by geography. Father O'Connor texted, reports from Vatican archives, similar digital possessions and past cases. Pray, child, contain your legacy. Back in Chicago, after the trip, Sophia convened the group at Dr. Vasquez's office for a strategy session. Amelia brought digitized maps of Beaumont family haunts, old estates with mirror rooms. Foster shared building schematics, noting ley lines converging at the Hawthorne, amplifying occult energies. Clara's not just spirit, she's information now, evolving. Vasquez proposed a counter meme, broadcast a forgiveness ritual globally, overwriting her code. Sophia agreed, scripting a final podcast special, ending the echoes. Production ramped up. Mia handled tech, securing encrypted streams to prevent hacks. O'Connor prepared relics, holy water infused with shard dust. Amelia contributed ancestral incantations. The broadcast went live from a neutral studio downtown, viewers in the millions. Sophia spoke steadily. Clara Beaumont, we release you. No more vessels, no more births. Chants followed, layered with audio filters to disrupt infrasound. Viewer participation surged. Chats filled with forgive, translated in dozens of languages. Mid-broadcast, interference hit. Screens glitched, Clara's face overlaying Sophia's feed. My children multiply, she hissed, voice modulating through speakers. Studio lights dimmed. Mirrors, props for effect, rippling. Shadows danced, forming mini vortices, digital to physical. Mia unplugged cords, but the stream persisted, hijacked. Reports poured in real time, viewers' devices overheating. Reflections birthing shadows in homes worldwide. A breaking news ticker, mass hallucinations. Reports of ghostly pregnancies sweep globe. Panic peaked. Sophia, feeling the pull again, runes warming, grabbed O'Connor's relic vial, smashing it on the floor. Holy water spread, steam rising as shadows recoiled. Everyone, chant now. The group unified, voices booming. Global chat echoed, a digital choir overpowering Clara's lullaby. Her image fractured, pixels scattering like ash in wind. No, eternal, she wailed, feed clearing. The stream ended abruptly, servers crashing, but positively. Follow-up emails, symptoms lifting, mirrors normalizing. News shifted. Viral hoax debunked. Calm returns. Sophia's tests, fully clear. The group celebrated quietly, toasting to closure. But Sophia, reflective, added a podcast epilogue. Clara taught us. Unresolved pain festers, spreading like virus. Forgive early. Seek help. Yet, in solitude, a final whisper. Opening an old email draft. Unsent. With Clara's words. Thank you. Peace. At last. Sophia's decision to archive Shadows of Chicago felt like closing a cursed book. But the world had other plans. Months after the global forgiveness broadcast, life in Chicago hummed with deceptive calm. She took a steady job at a local news outlet, writing human interest stories, far from the paranormal beat. Mia moved in permanently. Their apartment, a fortress of normalcy. Plants thriving under grow lights. A no mirrors policy in the bathroom. They used polished metal instead. And weekly check-ins with Dr. Vasquez. You're thriving, the psychiatrist said during a session reviewing Sophia's journal of dreamless nights. The mind heals when we stop feeding the fear. Yet subtle ripples disturb the surface. Sophia's email, now filtered, still caught stray messages. A podcaster in Sydney claiming her episodes triggered hauntings down under. Mirrors in studios reflecting extra figures. A researcher from MIT emailed about mimetic entities, ideas that behave like living things, spreading and evolving. Your Clara case fits, he wrote. We've modeled it. Forgiveness as antivirus, but mutations occur. Sophia forwarded it to Father O'Connor, who replied cryptically, "Vigilance, my child. Evil adapts." Amelia, delving deeper into family history, uncovered a hidden branch. Clara had a twin sister, Evelyn, who survived the fire and emigrated, her descendants scattering globally. Perhaps the curse forked, Amelia mused over a video call. Evelyn's line carried a dormant strain. This hit home when Sophia received an anonymous package, an antique hand mirror, frame matching Clara's runes, postmarked from Paris. Inside, a note. She calls to kin. Shattering it released no specter, but that night, storms returned. Not weather, but internal. Visions of mirrored cities. Clara's lullaby remixed into modern beats, echoing through global networks. Mia noticed Sophia's distraction. "You're scrolling forums again. Stop chasing ghosts." But a breaking story pulled her in. Worldwide reports of mirror epidemics. People trapped in reflections, bodies comatose, while digital avatars lived online. In Seoul, a K-pop idol vanished mid-livestream, her feed continuing with a pregnant silhouette. In LA, a tech CEO claimed his smart home mirrors birthed AI entities singing old tunes. Sophia's old podcast clips resurfaced on dark websites, labeled curse starters. Father O'Connor convened an emergency meeting at his church, the group reassembling like weary warriors. "The fragments coalesced," O'Connor declared, spreading news clippings. Foster nodded. "Hawthorne's ley lines connect to global hotspots, ancient sites amplified by tech." Amelia added, "Evelyn's diary mentions a sister soul. Clara split her essence." Sophia felt it. A pull, like threads tugging worldwide. "We ended at the roots." Plan formed. A multi-site ritual, coordinating with contacts abroad via secure video. Sophia would anchor from Chicago, broadcasting a unified forgiveness wave. Execution night synced with a lunar eclipse, energies peaking. Sophia stood in the Hawthorne's emptied basement, now a community center, but echoes lingered. Mia monitored feeds. Participants in Paris, shattering the mirror's twin. Sydney, exercising a haunted studio. Seoul, purging digital archives. O'Connor led prayers, holy symbols glowing. As the eclipse darkened, Clara's presence surged globally. Screens worldwide glitching, lullabies trending on social media. In Chicago, shadows converged, forming a colossal mirror portal. Clara's form multiplied. Infinite mothers. Sophia's body resonated, old scars blazing. "Forgive us all," she shouted, group chanting in unison. International voices joined via stream, a cacophony of languages blending into harmony. Portals cracked, Clara's multiples fracturing, screams digitizing into code errors, dissolving. Climax hit, a backlash wave, knocking participants down. Sophia blacked out, waking to silence. Reports flooded, epidemics ceasing, mirrors clearing. The package's sender, a descendant, freed. Peace solidified. No whispers, no visions. Sophia reflected in her final journal. Clara was pain personified. We healed by connecting, not isolating. Life moved on. Engagements, travels, but with wisdom. With the multi-site ritual complete and Clara's unbound shadows finally banished, Sophia Reynolds stepped into a world forever altered by her brush with the supernatural. The Hawthorne Building, once a towering sentinel of dread, was slated for renovation into luxury condos. Its hidden floor, officially discovered as a forgotten attic space, explained away by city inspectors as architectural oversight. Mr. Foster retired quietly, his guardianship lifted, spending his days in a quiet suburb, free from the weight of generations. Amelia Beaumont archived the family relics in a museum, labeling them as artifacts of urban folklore, ensuring Clara's story educated rather than ensnared. Father O'Connor returned to his parish, his faith bolstered by the victory, often referencing the case in sermons on forgiveness and redemption. Mia, Sophia's steadfast friend, pursued her own dreams, opening a coffee shop where they hosted monthly survivor story nights, safe spaces for sharing without summoning spirits. Sophia herself evolved. Her journalism career flourished, but she pivoted to investigative pieces on mental health and trauma recovery, drawing from her ordeal without delving back into the paranormal. The podcast remained online, watermarked with warnings. For entertainment only. Consult professionals for real experiences. No more glitches, no whispers in the ether. Mirrors reflected only her. Hazel eyes, no longer haunted. Yet vigilance became her mantra. She covered reflective surfaces during storms, avoided old buildings on Friday the 13th, and donated to historical preservation societies to prevent similar curses from festering in forgotten places. But true closure came in reflection. Sophia often pondered the deeper lessons woven into Clara's tragic tale. Lessons applicable to everyday life beyond the veil of horror. First and foremost, the peril of unresolved grief. Clara's spirit, trapped by her inability to let go of her lost child, mirrored how real people can become ensnared by past traumas, allowing them to metastasize and affect others. In psychology, this echoes the concept of intergenerational trauma, where unhealed wounds pass down families. Like studies from the American Psychological Association, showing that children of Holocaust survivors exhibit higher rates of PTSD, even without direct experience. Applying this, seek therapy early. Don't let sorrow define you. Sophia did, attending group sessions where sharing stories dissipated the isolation, much like forgiving Clara broke the cycle. Another key takeaway: the double-edged sword of curiosity and technology. Sophia's initial probe into the noises above her apartment escalated into a global threat because digital amplification spread the curse like a virus. This parallels real-world phenomena, such as the spread of misinformation online. For instance, the 2018 Momo Challenge hoax on YouTube, which originated as a sculpture but morphed into viral panic-inducing self-harm among youth, as reported by the BBC, showing how digital echoes can harm en masse. Lesson: approach online content critically. Verify sources before sharing. Sophia now advocates for digital literacy workshops, teaching others to pause and fact-check, preventing curses of fake news from taking root. Community and forgiveness emerged as powerful antidotes. Alone, Sophia might have succumbed, but her allies, Mia, Amelia, Foster, O'Connor, formed a united front, their collective will overpowering the haunt. This reflects real evidence from sociology. Strong social networks buffer against adversity. A Harvard study of adult development, tracking lives since 1938, found that close relationships, more than money or fame, keep people happier and healthier longer. Forgive others and yourself to release burdens. Holding grudges, like Clara's eternal regret, only perpetuates pain. In practice, Sophia mended old family rifts, finding peace in reconciliation. Finally, respect the unknown. Old buildings, like the Hawthorne, hold histories that demand caution. much like urban explorers facing real dangers. Statistics from the National Park Service report over 50 fatalities annually from trespassing in abandoned sites, from falls to asbestos exposure. Lesson: curiosity is valuable, but safety first. Research, prepare, and never go alone. Sophia channels this into mentoring young journalists. Chase stories, but protect your soul. In the end, as Sophia gazed at Lake Michigan's horizon, the lullaby a distant memory, she whispered thanks to Clara for the terror that forged her strength. Life's true horrors aren't ghosts, but ignoring the lessons they teach. Stay vigilant, forgive freely, connect deeply, and the shadows will retreat.